It's the Burke of That Gratitude Guy. Today with another special guest, Anthony Paino, who happens to be the general manager at the Columbia Tower Club, where I spend a lot of time. So, Anthony, welcome.
Thank you.
And tell us what you're grateful for.
The number one thing that I'm grateful for are my parents.
Oh, great.
And I think that, especially these days, we see as the new generations come up and enter the workforce, just the importance of parenting. Mm-hmm. I would go as far to say that parenting is more important than anything our school systems can provide or anything outside of the home.
Excellent. So. And boy, do I agree with that. In fact, as I mentioned, Anthony is the general manager of the Columbia Tower Club here. And I've said, having managed a number of people myself in the past, and as he manages a number of people here as staff and takes care of the guests and so forth, that the number one skill for raising children and managing people is the example you set, and he sets a heck of an example.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And as a result of that, tell me some of the things that your parents set as an example that were so powerful for you.
Oh, sure. Well, I always tell people the smartest man I know is my father.
Oh, great.
So he ran companies during my childhood, and we moved around a lot. And as I grew up, he encouraged me to be involved in everything I could. My mother as well. But something he always taught me was, especially with sports, the physical part's easy. It's the mental part that's the challenge. So I take that lesson with me every day to focus on the mental aspect, and I try to pass that on to my staff as well.
Like I was just talking to a member of Anthony's staff that's had some challenging things, and parents really aren't in the picture and so forth. And I've said for many years that the most important thing that happens to us is the family that we're born into, and all of a sudden David appears, Anthony appears, and so forth. And did your parents have anything to do with your political aspirations way back then?
Not really. I inherited their political leanings, of course, but that was something I did on my own.
Excellent. And do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a sister. She is a PhD, college professor in Michigan, and I have a brother who's an engineer, and another brother who just graduated from the same college I went to.
Excellent, excellent. Boy, well, certainly sounds like the parents were a big influence on Anthony's life, and as I mentioned, he's the general manager here, so all the Paino kids are doing quite well. But just another example of why I love doing these special guest videos is to emphasize the things that we're grateful for. And in this case, first thing Anthony mentions is parents. I lost my parents when I was relatively young. A lot of people have not had their parents in their life. So just a perfect example to continually focus on the actual gratitude or grateful things we have in our life every day, to remind ourselves that it's always better to focus on what we have versus what we don't have. So Anthony, thank you so much. Very, very good insights.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Stay tuned next week. We'll have another special guest on The Gratitude Guy. Take care.